As we go into episode 2, we revisit Naboo and we actually get to see sort of the evolution of the planet. And it was key to the story because this is where Anakin and Padme really start to form their relationship. And it was really interesting in the sense that, all the other planets, we start to hint at a little bit of the mystery and the darkness. On Naboo, we actually want to exaggerate sort of the romance and the beauty and the light to contrast what was starting to happen in the rest of the Star Wars universe. There's a dangerous trap in how do you create an incredible paradise, because everybody has a different idea of what that could be. And one of our goals was to really ground it into something that we're very familiar with. Of course, nature is an obvious one because everybody loves nature, hopefully. And then how do you build enough architecture in there so that everything looks like it's in harmony? And so we decided to create architecture that was really perfectly situated into the natural surroundings. And Lake Como in Italy was actually a really good foundation for that because it's a beautiful resort, a beautiful place to visit for vacations. And we just basically took that idea of that lake and then exaggerated it on a planetary scale, and that becomes the new Naboo. One of the environments on Naboo that we exaggerated the lighting and the architecture to make it more romantic is the Queen's Palace, her sort of secret retreat where she and Anakin actually start to fall in love. And what we did there was we really started to create a visual look with the lighting so that it's always idyllic. It's always afternoon light. It's always perfect. You get a sense that it never thunderstorms on Naboo in this part of the world, that everything is always perfect. The lighting is always ideal.
That's beautiful.
That was one way to do it. The other one was to take the color palette of the flowers that we see around there and really just amp them up so everything was in full bloom, everything was in spring. And it's all these little subtle visual cues that you start to think that, okay, this planet is pretty special. I mean, it really represents paradise in that sense. And then these are Naboo buses. I like this one. One of the really interesting design challenges for Naboo was how do you merge technology with this very beautiful, peaceful society? The minute you start introducing vehicles and other high-tech things into a very naturalistic setting, there's a tendency to transform the environment into something dark just by the nature of what it is. And one of the real challenges for Naboo was, okay, how do you blend those two? How do you create technology in terms of the vehicles and the spaceships and the architecture to, in many ways, complement the natural surroundings of their planet? And we went back and decided to treat everything as jewelry almost as artwork. So every little piece, every little detail in terms of the door frames, the doorknobs, all the way up to spaceships, everything was treated with the care of an artist in terms of everything being designed and handcrafted, hand-built, hand-lovingly manufactured. And that kind of gave it the perfect blend where you actually saw beautiful trees and this technology that actually became art. And so it was really blending art with nature. And that was one way to overcome sort of the dangers of how do you make a society very believable and yet without turning too dark.